All right, I think just first of all start off with just want to thank the veterans. Today's Veterans Day, and I thank them for what they've done for our country. Not only providing a safe place and a free place to be able to do what we want to do. Just want to give them a shout out for everything they've done and continue to do for us. And particularly for what we get to do is coach football, and it's awesome. We love it, even though when we have bad weekends like we had this past one, we still love it. And we've got a great opportunity this week to come back and play. It's a great thing about football is the fact that win or lose, you got to come back and go again. Your next game is the most important game, so we're excited about the opportunity to go down to Raleigh and play NC State. We know what we're going to get. That's a school that I've visited a lot. Of course, Coach Ledford coached there. Know a lot about them, how they run their program. Got a lot of respect for Dave and the way he's run his program for years. Very well coached team. Kids always play hard. They this year have had a ton of injuries throughout their whole team and have had to play a lot of young players. They've played several quarterbacks, kind of settled in on Leary now. That's given them a chance offensively. Knight's a really good running back. So I think, always a great crowd there in Raleigh. One of the louder venues, I think, in the ACC. And night game down there, I'm sure they'll be out for this one. So, we're looking forward to this opportunity. Got to get better.
Coach, do you have any kind of update on Makai or some of the other guys that got hurt on Saturday?
Yeah, I think Kai's, getting better. I think, he'll probably be listed as day-to-day. We'll see how he is this week. Obviously, if he's available to play, we want to play him. He's, you ask him, he said he's playing. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be one of those deals, won't be ready to go at the beginning of the week, but we'll see where he's at toward the end of the week. The rest of the guys, can't remember anything as far as everybody else. You got Tutu, I think, should be fine. He'll be good to go. Trying to think anybody else that Dorian Jones. Yeah, Dorian Jones. Yeah, Dorian will be out. We have not. He got an MRI. I have not gotten the results back from that right now, but he'll definitely be out this week, and then we'll see. We're hoping for the best, but it doesn't look good right now. But we'll see where it's at. Kane passed as. I think he got bruised up pretty good, but I think he'll be ready to go as well. I would say for him, probably be practicing by the middle of the week. We did get a few dings in that game, but Cunningham was another one. He'll be fine. He practiced Sunday, so he's good to go as well.
Coach, with NC State, they have used a couple of quarterbacks. What do you see with Leary? Why do you feel like they settled him and be better with him? Yeah,
I think so. He's got a good arm. He can throw the football. I think coming out of high school was a highly rated player. I think looking at all three, he probably gives him the best chance to move the ball. He can throw it. You give him time back there, he'll be able to complete those balls. They got a few guys out on the outside I think are big play receivers. I think Knight gives him something in the running game. He's very explosive. So I just think they feel he gives him the best chance. He's young, he's inexperienced, but he's got a couple games under his belt. Obviously, they feel like he'll get better and better. But I think talent-wise, probably gives him the best chance.
Looking at McHale's injury when he slipped before he got hit on the ground, it seemed like throughout the game the turf crew was spending a lot of time picking up chunks. And then with the rain, do you think the turf condition had anything to do with any of the injuries?
It's hard to say. With Dorian, he said his gave way when he's running down on kickoff team and hurt his leg. So it's just hard to say. Both teams were slipping, sliding around. The walking around pregame, the turf, it was a lot of areas where there was just dirt. And then it started raining, which created mud. So there was a lot of slipping going on. But it was both teams, and it's just hard to say if that does create the injuries or not. I don't know. I think a couple of our injuries were just guys getting, leg whipped or something like that. It probably hadn't anything to do with the turf. So it's really hard to say.
Coach, when you look at film, did anything change in the offensive line's performance after Makai went out? Because obviously he's a pretty big part of it.
I think Boone came in and did really good. He gave up one sack. We got ran around him, but other than that, I thought he played well. I think you're getting thrusted in in that position, particularly at left tackle, where he hadn't played really much. He's really been playing guard. But I think we're, obviously glad that we played him early on in the season. He got his feet wet and felt good about going in. But going back and watching the film, he held his own. I think that's a good D-line that we played against. Very athletic, very, can run well. Other than that one sack, I thought he played well, had a good game.
The punting that happened against Miami, how do you kind of shore that up?
Mm-hmm.
After
Yeah. You talking about get the punt that was blocked there? Or
blocked, and then also the short punt.
Yeah, short punt. Well, Mason's got to punt the ball better. He didn't punt the ball great. We got to get better punts. We got to get more hang time. The punt return that they had, it was 3.1 seconds, 3.2 seconds hang time. That's not nearly enough. And not only punt, but it was also were covered. We had a couple of guys that's supposed to be flinging to the left, ended up going to the right. They've got to be in their lanes. The punt that was blocked, we got to get more on that particular player. We didn't hardly get anything on him. We got a guy there. We just didn't get anything on him. We got to be able to field the punts. We didn't field that punt. It gave him another short field. Thought we had momentum at that point, too, in the game. Defense did a great job, and then we give the ball right back to them. No question, the punt team and punt return team, that was huge plays in the game. Particularly when we're giving up some touchdown passes and stuff. You got to play good in that phase of special teams in order to give yourself a chance. But I think looking back at it, the 14 penalties is the most penalties we had this year. We've been doing pretty solid in the penalty game, but you have 14 penalties for 121 yards. I mean, that's 12 first downs. I mean, that's a lot. And then when we lost the turnover battle. We had 3 turnovers to 0. When you don't win that, that's going to be hard to win. I don't care who you're playing. 14 penalties, and then I think maybe they had 3 or 4 penalties. A couple of those late. So those were differences in the game.
Coach, you mentioned the other night all 3 phases obviously didn't play well. Mm-hmm. And the fact that happens in games, how do you reiterate to the guys so it doesn't linger past 1 week that you guys didn't play well? Yeah, well, I mean, it is one game. Whether like I told them Sunday, whether you played well or you didn't play well, it doesn't matter this week. You got to come back this week and give everything you have in your preparation. So there's a lot of heart-to-heart meetings yesterday, with in-position meetings in different groups. And, there were some bright spots that we were able to make some plays out there. I think, we had close to 500 yards offensively. The one thing we had been doing offensively is finishing in the red zone. We had 3 opportunities. We didn't score any points, 2 interceptions. And then, right there at the end, we didn't catch the touchdown pass there. So there were some positives in there. We got to take some positives out of it. But you got to continue to get better. We want to continue to improve. There's a lot of things we can get better at for sure. And, and if we don't, because if you linger, then that loss will end up in another one, So you got to put that one aside, continue to move forward and work on NC State.
The penalties, what was strange about them is you guys hadn't been a highly penalized team all year. When you look at it, was it lack of focus or their athleticism caused you guys?
I think early on, we had 3 false starts up front. I think early on it was some confusion with the cadence there and hearing things. It was loud in there early in that game, with that roof they have in that stadium. It made it loud. And so that was hindering our offensive line, I think, a couple of times with that. Robbie gets called for pulling a Miami guy off the pile. That's a 15-yarder, I mean, just stuff like that. We get a chop block on a kickoff return, which, we all know you can't block below the waist. I mean, that's just, baffling that you end up doing that. It was just a lot of uncharacteristic type penalties that we have not been having throughout the season that put you behind and put you, particularly offensively. I think we had 8 penalties on offense. And so it's hard enough when you stay on the sticks, when you're getting those lost yardage with those penalties. It's so hard to gain momentum early in the game. And so that was huge, but we got to eliminate those. And I think, I think there was, one holding penalty. We had a chop penalty up front. We're high-low. So
you had back-to-back face masks too.
On defense, back-to-back face mask, grabbing up obviously too high. But those are things that we haven't been doing that you can't do. If you want to win games, you can't do those things. And we talk about them. And eliminate those penalties.
What's your sense of how they came back yesterday? And do you just go same thing you've been doing all
Yeah.
season?
Well, I mean, as far as the organization, it's the same. But obviously, you have some different conversations after a game like that. And it's all of us in the building. I mean, from the strength staff in the weight room to the training room to all our meeting rooms. So things are said differently, and we're going to try to get better. We're going to look at what we did bad and get them corrected. And, and sometimes when you come in on Sundays, players got to have thick skin. They got to be able to take the coaching and know what we're trying to do is make them a better team and better individual players. So yeah, the structure is going to be the same, but when you come back, obviously the corrections, the mental part is going to be a little different.
They've been really resilient all season. Any reason to expect it to be any different?
Well, I don't think so. I think the guys will come back. Listen, Sundays practice. We talked about the system of that we chart the exertion, how much they put out in practice. It was one of the better Sundays putting out wise. So hopefully it lit a fire under them. And to know that they're going to come out and give everything they have. I think that's what you got to ask for these guys, and to be resilient, to continue to come back, because when you face adversity, how you come back from it is what was going to be the measure of the person. So that's what we're looking at. No, we got to come back strong.
Coach,
you mentioned that you have respect for Coach Dorn.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there for a while.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of success. What are the calling cards of his team?
Well, he's always played good defense. I think obviously he's a defensive-minded coach, and they're structurally sound on defense. The kids play hard on that side of the ball. So you're going to get that. They want to be a physical football team. They want to be that blue-collar, tough-minded football team. And I think that's what they want to be. Again, when you're playing so many young guys with so many injuries, they've put themselves in the last couple of weeks in bad spots with turnovers. Against Clemson, they're backed up. They had a lot of short fields early in that game. Next thing you know, it's out of control. So that those things can't happen, obviously. So I think we know what we're going to get from those guys. You're going to get a hard blue-collar team that's going to play hard and coach well, and we got to go in the game expecting they're going to play their best game. That's how you have to go into it if you're playing against those guys.
Coach, Saturday, Gigi had said something around the sense that he didn't even like that people were hyping the team up that much. Did you feel like this team plays a little bit better when they have a chip on the shoulder?
Well, I don't know. I think when everybody has that mindset that you're going to perform better. I think that's anybody. If you have that underdog mindset that you got to go out and try to perform, improve something every single time you step on a court, a field, anywhere, then I think you perform better. Absolutely. Now, yeah, if you're, no matter who you are, you can look at all the champions out there. That if you think you've arrived, that's when you're going to get beat. And I think, for us and this team, we certainly have not arrived. I mean, we know we've got a lot of work to do, a lot of deficiencies that need to get better. So, but I think, you're coming off of, the stretch we had there in October. People are patting you on the back because they didn't think you'd be this good or, win this many games. And hopefully, guys didn't, buy into that. I mean, we've lost too many games to buy into any of that mess. So we got to continue to get better and a long ways to go.
Scott, through that the other night, you said there were some bright spots, and Hawkins was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just kind of speak on how he continues to keep getting better and better and running harder and harder?
Yeah, well, I think what we do want to do, we want to run the football. We all know that, and that's a mindset that we have offensively. Hawkins runs hard, and we continue to give him the ball, and he makes plays for us. And then Hassan Hall come in and had a nice touchdown run on him. I think it was that fourth down, right? And so we feel like really both of those bats can give us a lot in the running game. And Hawkins, again, we mentioned he's not a big guy, but he runs like he's a big guy. But then he's also, when he takes it, past the line of scrimmage, he can take it big runs after that. So yeah, we're excited about that. Tutu Atwell had another big game. I mean, he's having an all-conference type season so far. Big play guy for offensively, and seems like every week, he's taking one to the house. So I mean, we have some guys that we think that can change the game with offensively, and we got to continue to give them the ball.
When Tutu was out towards the end, Keon Wakefield made some plays. We hadn't seen a ton of him. Is he a guy down the road that you feel pretty good about?
Well, we hope so. I mean, he's practiced well. He's played quite a bit, just hadn't been targeted as much. Tutu goes out and he gets a few opportunities, make the most of it, make some big plays for us. He's not as fast as Tutu, but he's got really good hands. He can move the chains. So hopefully he'll continue to get better and better. And a game like this, where was able to show what he can do, hopefully they'll give him some confidence.
Coach, when you looked at film defensively, what stood out to you that maybe surprised you that you didn't see Saturday, or what might have been worse than it was that you saw Saturday?
Well, I mean, just the fact that we didn't get as much pressure as you'd like. And a part of that is that they're getting rid of the football pretty quickly. So the things that we got to do a lot better is closing down on receivers, making the quarterback have to hold the ball a little bit longer, because there's times we got some hits on the quarterback, but then the ball's gone. Right as he's throwing it. And, Miami had been a team that had given up a lot of sacks. I think we sacked him one time. So, if you're in those throwing lanes where he's got to hold it just a half a second more, then we're able to get to him. And I think that changes the games right there. So we got to do a lot better job, closing down coverages. Too many times we got guys running free. And, and that's happened. That's been a problem this whole season, quite frankly.
Are those physical issues or mental issues?
Well, I think it's both. I think they're both. We had some mental bust, whether not proper alignment pre-snap. If you're supposed to be an inside shade, if I'm a corner and I'm outside, you just open it up for the bender or the post. I should have been a little bit more tighter. And then some of it is ability. Where these guys we're playing, everybody's got a guy that can run. That really fast. And so if you're out of position a little bit, you don't have the ability to catch up. And so some of that's that. So as again, something we work on every week. We're trying to get better at it. Obviously, we're still not there yet.
I believe Clemson's clinched the division title now for, fifth year in a row. How big is the gap between them and everybody else, and how long will it take for teams to close it?
Seems like it's pretty big. I mean, it's at least 35 points a game bigger than everybody else. It seems like every time you turn the score on, on Saturday night, they won by 35 or 40. And they're not. And in the fourth quarter, the starters are not playing. Which is incredible, really. I mean, it's what they've been able to accomplish there. They have so many great players. They're coached well. They're top 4 in the country in offense and defense, maybe top 3. Offensively, I think they're number 2 in the country. Defensively, maybe number 3. So when you have the top offense and defense in the country, you're going to be hard to beat. And they're, And I think this league, everybody else is very competitive, from the rest of the guys. There's a clear number 2. There's obviously not in this league right now, but it just shows you how much better Clemson is than everybody else. That gap's pretty good gap, I think. And people want to write and say that the ACC is not as good, but I think there's a lot of solid teams in the ACC. I really do. But Clemson's just they're at another level. They're at the level with the LSUs, the Alabamas that played this weekend. They're at that level. When you go through a whole season, you don't have to play your starters the whole time. That's pretty impressive what they've been able to accomplish.
Scott, now that you're down to these last 3 games here, and you touched on Keon, Marshawn has been another guy that's getting involved. Are there some other names that you hope to get involved, especially now that you're at these last point of the year?
Well, like Adonis Boone's a guy who comes to mind, with Kai going out, and, he's played a little bit throughout the season, but a guy like that you may have to lean on a lot more. Now he's not the skill guy that everybody sees, but he's in the trenches there. I think, so those offensive line, there's going to be some guys have to do some things up front. But I think once you get to the point of this season, you're playing the guys that you feel like that need to be playing. Dorian Jones, the guy that we wanted to play these last 4 games, in his very first play, he gets hurt. Which is a shame. I hate it for him, because he was going to get so much valuable experience in this last month right here. So, we'll see how it goes. If there's anybody else that's going to rise up, but pretty much think who's playing is going to be the guys that are playing right now at this point.
Coach, I don't know how much football you got to watch after you guys' game Saturday, but obviously App State beat South Carolina. You still have a lot of people over there. Just kind of what are your thoughts on them beating both South and North Carolina this year?
Yeah, well, I think as I stated earlier, we were the 3rd youngest team in the country last year, so all those guys were back, and so I felt, you got to feel like they were going to be good this year. It's still hard to go into North Carolina and win, go into South Carolina and win. Things have to go your way. That's why they had a pick 6, and they only had 200 yards of offense, and they still won. You find a way to win, and so just proud of those guys. Continue, it's been a big year for them. and all those guys that we coached are making big plays. So it's not surprising. I mean, they have a great opportunity to end up winning that conference and still potentially go to a New Year's Six bowl. There's still a lot of ball to be played left. All right, thanks, guys.